radio for all.
You are now live with the Humble Prince on Sahara FM Radio. Yeah.
And we're back live with the Humble Prince on Sahara FM Radio. Just want to say that tonight's show is brought to you by the African Entertainment Awards USA. Please go to their website, www.africanentertainmentaward.com, and there you can get tickets and more information. And right now, I like to say, live with the Humble Prince, and we just don't talk. I don't want to say,
Not just light matters.
Yeah, we talk about serious stuff too. And
right.
Tonight, I'm joined by a very good buddy of mine, friend. And to be honest with you, I don't think I'll be where I am today without this guy. Glad to have him back in the studio. This is Sami Disu, who's communications with the Black Institute, and he's a digital media strategist and freelance journalist. Sami, welcome back to Live with Humble Prince.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man. Very, very pleasure. How's everything?
Everything is going on.
Yeah.
Life is still running.
Good, man. Yeah. Sorry, man. I don't want to say I was a little intimidated by your presence, but it's like I had to get into serious mode now because I know we're about to. Anytime it's you, it's about to have a serious conversation, man.
Oh, I don't know how to take that.
No, fantastic. But there's a report on taxation without representation, and this is about regards to African communities in New York, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Sami, please, before we even start, man, please just give the people a little background about yourself.
Well, you right here in New York City, so you know that we have some very vibrant African communities, not just
Definitely.
in Harlem,
Yes.
not in Brooklyn,
Right.
not just in Bronx, but all across the state.
Yeah.
And what this report really is focusing in on is that there is this emerging, widely acknowledged African community,
Right.
but there's just not the political representation for it. You don't see any African born that's been appointed or elected to any position of prominence, whether in the city or whether in the state of New York.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're calling attention to.
Right. I saw the report, and one of the things that stuck out to me was the demographic change. And I'm just going to read it. This was like the very first bullet. It says, according to the U.S. Census American Community Survey, admittedly incomplete, parentheses, data since passing the Immigration Act of 1965, the number of African-born in the U.S. grew by 47 times.
47 times.
Wow.
That may be the largest growth for any group that
right.
you can
It's
think of.
unbelievable, man. From 35,000 to at least 1.7 million today. That is big. Go ahead.
And you got to remember that these are 2010 census figures.
Oh.
We're talking about 2010. And even then, those numbers were already widely acknowledged to be undercounted.
Wow.
So one thing that we're calling for in this report is that the U.S. Census Bureau needs to go back to the way they used to do census, which was more comprehensive, so that we can know exactly where this growth in the African communities have happened, so that the government can provide targeted services to them. If you don't know where they are or that they're even there, how are you going to serve them?
Yeah. Another one I liked was overqualified and underpaid. And it says African immigrants are among the highest educated population groups. And
you know this already.
I knew this, yeah.
Nigerians are probably right up there on top of all of Africa in that regard, in this country.
Yes, and it says 25% have bachelor's and 17% graduate or professional degrees. That is huge.
That is huge, and
Seriously.
there is no other immigrant group in this country that has these kinds of educational attainment rates to match.
Right.
But what you're going to be seeing is that many of them come here, and because of all kinds of issues, they're not even able to work in the fields that they've spent years back home in Africa training for.
And that's why, a lot of them have their trade, maybe in law, education, or medicine. And because when they come over here for a better life, supposedly, they have to do other things like maybe security guard, driving taxi drivers, because that's what it says. It says, despite possessing advanced degrees, many African-born immigrants settle for lower skilled jobs due to a variety of obstacles.
Absolutely, I can tell
talk
you.
About now,
I can tell you about in putting this report together. We did surveys, and so within the African community.
Right.
And I know of this one driver who's actually a leader in his own his own sense of the word. But he's a civil engineer by training from Ivory Coast, where he came from. But because of some issues with the paperwork, becoming legitimate with the government, he spent 20 years getting his residency.
Wow.
In that time, you're not going to be thinking of continuing with your civil engineering, which you can do here anyway.
Yeah,
so he went to driving taxis.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I don't think there's anything wrong with driving a cab. I mean, it's a kind of it might not be the most prestigious.
It's a very important service that
it's
many
lucrative,
in
and
a
they make a
city
lot of
like
money.
this depend on daily.
Yeah.
But if you driving a taxi when you've been trained in being a civil engineer, and that may have been 5 or 6 years of investment.
True.
There's something wrong with that picture.
Yeah, real quick. So I wanted to ask you, so what was the main reason for this report? The main purpose of it? Why did you guys do it?
Well, the Black Institute, we have a mission towards impacting public policy for the benefit of peoples of color. That includes all shades of black and brown.
Okay.
Because these are communities and populations that haven't, enjoyed as much of the American pie, if you will. And so it was only natural for us, years ago to start focusing in on this growing African communities and seeing what we can do to impact, at least what we can do to impact policies that can make their integration socially and economically better.
Yeah, fantastic, man. So what are the next steps? Where do we go from here?
This is just the beginning. We've issued out a report. There were many community leaders whose inputs, African community leaders, whose insights went into the report. So we're going to be looking to building and expanding upon that, a coalition to put forth the demands for better representation, political representation. We can't, as Africans, we can't keep pigging on the more established immigrant groups in order to push forward our political agenda. We need we need Africans actually being elected to important positions so that they can more vigorously represent the needs of their communities. We don't need to keep pigging on other groups to do that.
So I know we have to round up soon, but one more thing I just wanted to touch on and ask about real quick, because I think this really concerns a lot of Africans. So the visa lottery system, which is the means by which a lot of Africans came here, they don't do that anymore, right?
As far as I'm concerned, that's still
exists?
That's still in existence,
really?
And it's a significant way by which people come into this country legitimately with long-term intentions to stay.
Right. I gotta see. Sorry, I thought it was done. I didn't know. Sorry, because I haven't.
I believe it's still.
Oh yeah, because I know at one point it used to be a buzz. But one thing you guys wanted to work on was maintaining and expanding the diversity visa program while reforming our broken immigration system to provide legalization and path to citizenship for our country's 11 million undocumented. So that 11 million, that's just not Africans. So that's
the whole
undocumented
population of undocumented.
Yeah, I didn't even know there were that many.
Africans are going to be a very small percentage, relatively speaking,
you have
for
Latinos,
any one group.
Right, Latinos probably most.
However, there are many Africans who are undocumented, and so there needs to be a comprehensive overhaul of that whole system.
Right. And I got to say thank you to Donald Trump, because I didn't know there were 11 million. I didn't know there were that many, but this whole issue of anchor babies and everything, And please, let me just say, anchor babies, jackpot babies, we're all American citizens. End of story.
End of story.
That's it. Once you're born on American soil, like the 14th Amendment says, that's it.
And I agree with you, even though Donald Trump has played his part. We're talking about immigration in a way that we weren't for a long time.
Right.
And
And, I remember when I was talking about this on my Facebook page, people were coming at me, probably because I'm an anchor baby. No. My parents were legal when they gave birth to me in this country. But I'm just saying, though, the 14th Amendment says anybody that's born on American soil is an American citizen. I don't care if you cross the border, have your baby, and go back. That baby's an American citizen.
Really? I've never seen your certificate, though.
Good stuff, man. Thank you, man. Yeah, so, Sami, thank you so much for this report, man. And hopefully we could talk more in the future and everything. So do you guys have any other plans coming up, or what can we expect?
We have a number of projects and initiatives in the works. So I would encourage you to visit our website, which is World Wide Web, the blackinstitute.org. We also have a Twitter presence at the Black Inst. And you can also find us on Facebook, the Black Institute.
Thank you so much, man. So I know the mission for you guys is not just for Africans in the diaspora, or?
But for all peoples of color.
Thank you. Fantastic,
Yes.
man. Sami, always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for coming back.
No problem at all.
This is our last show for the season, but when we regroup, definitely, man, maybe have you here once a month or, you know, more frequently, man, so we can get this information.
Anytime.
Everything. This is pertinent information, man. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by Nigerian Entertainment Award winner. I don't deal with nominees. Mr. 2K, that's his videos you've just been seeing on the show all night. He's out there. He's going to be joining us. I think he's going to be coming with his manager, too. I'm not sure. But anyway, live with Humble Prince. We'll be right back. Good stuff, man. Appreciate it.